All right, let's talk about something a little deeper today. A quiet, internal journey. The one that takes you from constantly performing for others to finally finding your own truth. We're going to explore the story of the man who walks alone. Not because he's angry, but because he's searching for something real.
So let me just ask you something, and I want you to be really honest with yourself. Do you ever get that feeling that you're just going through the motions, saying the right things, laughing at the right jokes, basically just playing a part to fit in? You know, that feeling? It actually has a name. It's called social fatigue. It's that deep, soul-crushing exhaustion that comes from being on all the time. And right there, that feeling, that's the starting line for the entire journey we're about to map out. Now, what's so important to get is that this journey isn't about some big, dramatic blow-up. It's not about burning bridges or storming out of the room. It starts with a simple, quiet, internal decision to just stop pretending. And the craziest part, the distance that follows, well, it often just happens on its own. So where does a path like this even begin? Well, the first step is something we can call the quiet detachment. It's that moment you decide to gently step off the social stage. The constant hum of expectations, that pressure to perform, it just starts to fade into the background. What's really happening here is a shift. You're moving away from all that social noise. The gossip, the complaining, the endless chase for status and validation. And you're moving towards something else entirely, an inner quiet. A place of growing awareness, of quiet observation, and of valuing your own simple, unvarnished honesty. Okay, so stepping off that social stage, it can leave a kind of void, right? And that brings us to what might be the most critical turning point in this whole journey, understanding the massive difference between solitude and loneliness. It's all about reframing what it actually means to be alone. See, society pretty much drills into our heads that being alone equals loneliness, that it's this negative, empty space, a problem that needs to be fixed. But for the man on this path, that idea gets completely flipped on its head. Loneliness becomes solitude, a positive, peaceful, and chosen state of freedom. The absence of noise isn't emptiness anymore, it's peace. And this right here, this is where the real transformation happens. He faces the very thing most people are terrified of, silence. And he discovers it wasn't what he thought it was. It wasn't empty. It was peaceful. It's a total reinvention of what it means to just be with yourself. But, it's not always that simple. There's a catch. This newfound inner peace, it's not always understood by the people on the outside. There's a price for this kind of clarity, especially when your own raw honesty starts to disrupt the comfortable illusions other people live by. So what do other people see? Well, when you stop performing for their approval, you suddenly get hit with all these labels. You're arrogant, you're cold, distant. All of a sudden, you're too quiet, or maybe even judgmental. And then, of course, you get the big one. You've changed. But let's really break that down. When someone says you've changed, what do they actually mean? A lot of the time, it's not really about you, it's about them. What they're often saying is, you no longer fit into the comfortable, predictable box I had you in. Your authenticity has shaken up their world. And this is exactly why some friendships just fade away. The ones that were transactional, the ones built on complaining together or just out of habit. They require a constant performance. And when one person stops playing the game, the whole thing just crumbles. But what can take their place is something much, much rarer, an authentic connection. One built on truth, that gives both people the space and freedom to just be. So after going through all of this, where does the path actually lead? What's the destination? Well, it's something called authentic peace. It's a reward that's totally and completely independent of what anyone else thinks. You can really break this whole journey down into 4 essential steps. First, you just notice the performance. You become aware of it. Second, you take that quiet step back. Third, you find real clarity in the silence that follows. And fourth, and this is the big one, you make a conscious choice to value your own honesty over anyone else's approval. And all of this leads to this really powerful paradox. It's kind of amazing when you think about it. The clearer your inner vision gets, the quieter your outer life becomes. So much of the noise we deal with is just a hunt for validation. When you stop needing other people to tell you who you are, that noise, it just fades away. So in the end, yeah, he walks alone. But it's so important to see that he's not an outcast. He's not a victim. He's a man who made a conscious choice. He understands that authenticity has a price, and he's decided that his own truth is worth way more than anyone's applause.
So we want to leave you with this. This journey, it's not just some abstract story. It's a mirror. It's asking all of us to take a hard look at the little performances in our own lives. And it leaves us with a pretty powerful question. What price are you willing to pay for your own truth?